Happy morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about disorders of intestines. Here are the disorders of intestines. What are the conditions is there? Here are the hernia, under that hernia omphalocele, and then gastroschisis. These are the conditions is there for hernia. This is the disorder of the intestine. Previous sessions we discussed about the disorders of mouth, the disorders of stomach. Those conditions is over. Today onwards we will discuss about disorders of intestine. First, we will see about the hernia. What is hernia? Hernia is the portion of intestine through a weakness in the abdomen muscles. Hernias occur in newborns or omphalocele, gastroschisis and diaphragmatic hernia. These three conditions are comes under the hernia. Okay, what is hernia? Hernia means it is an protrusion of internal organ through a weakened opening, or mostly here the herniation we have seen in the above around the umbilicus cord and then abdomen wall. Okay, abdominal muscles. Commonly diagnosed hernia during the infancy and childhood, or during at birth itself we will identify that is hernia of omphalocele, gastroschisis and diaphragmatic hernia. When we are diagnosed in the childhood means that is inguinal hernia and then umbilical hernia. These are the conditions is divided. Okay, hernias is mostly seen in the newborns. What are the conditions is seen in newborns? At birth itself we will see means that is omphalocele, and second one is gastroschisis and third one is diaphragmatic hernia. Okay, in those conditions are we have seen in the newborn itself. When childhood, what are the conditions we are seeing in herniation? That is inguinal hernia and then umbilical hernia. Okay, let's we will see about the etiological factors and then risk factors. For a hernia to occur, two factors must be present. The first factor is a defect in the integrity of muscular abdominal wall. Here some defect is there. The first part, this is the first etiology, means here the defect is there in the muscular abdominal wall. Here the weakened portion is there in the abdomen wall. So through an weakened portion of the abdominal muscular wall, the whatever the abdominal organs, that is mostly intestines, is comes through that opening. Okay, the second part. Okay, the second etiology is increased intra-abdominal pressure. Because of over dumping of the internal organs of the abdominal cavity, that is increased intra-abdominal pressure, it may protrude it through an opening. Okay, these are the two causes or and risk factors for the hernia. The first risk factor is what? A defect in the integrity of muscular abdominal wall. Second one is increased intra-abdominal pressure. Okay, these two are the causes and risk factors. First, we will see about defect in the muscular wall, maybe congenital or due to the trauma. Okay, congenital means I said no. What are the conditions is there in the newborn itself? Means omphalocele, gastroschisis and diaphragmatic hernia. We will see here the abdominal portion of abdominal organs through the suture that contain it, structure that contain it. The first one is reducible, that is it should be reducible and irreducible. Two conditions is there. First one is reducible and second one is irreducible. Here the what are the what is comes under the reducible? When the contents of hernia sac can be replaced in the abdominal cavity by an manipulation. Here that is reducible. We will do some surgeries and we will replace the whatever protruded organs of the abdominal cavity. It should be replaced into the abdominal cavity. Okay, that is called as reducible. And irreducible means increased. or when the content cannot be replaced in the abdominal cavity due to the strangulation of hernial segmentation of the intestines. It is called as irreducible. Okay, here the abdominal protrusion. Here the abdominal, because of weakened abdominal wall, the organs is escaped through that portion. Okay, this is the defects of the muscular wall, may be congenital or due to the trauma. Okay, and coming to see the what are the two conditions is there. First one is gastroschisis and second one is omphalocele. Okay, this is the gastroschisis. What is, you should know about the what is the difference between the gastroschisis and then omphalocele. Here the gastroschisis, same, this also is hernia because of weakened portion of the abdominal wall. The abdominal organs, that is intestines, is escaped through the particular portion. Okay, but it is very small, that is less than 4 centimeters. Mostly it is there in the right side of the umbilicus. The weakened portion we will see in the right side of the umbilicus, that is called as gastroschisis. What is gastroschisis? Only small portion of the abdominal wall weakness, protrusion is there. The internal organs is protruded through an opening, but the remains, the umbilical cord is normal. But it is by delivery itself we will see baby's intestines over the abdominal cavity. So that you should know about the difference between the omphalocele and gastroschisis. Okay, look at this picture. This is an omphalocele. Here also protrusion of the internal organ through an opening of the abdominal wall. It is in more than 4 centimeters. Okay, it is less than 4 centimeters. Here more than 4 centimeters. Here it is called as omphalocele. Okay, all of you clear? Total two conditions is there, gastroschisis and then omphalocele. Let us see the definition of the gastroschisis. Here the gastroschisis is a congenital abnormality characterized by defect in the anterior abdominal wall through which the abdominal contents freely protruded. Here the abdominal contents are freely protruded. This is called as gastroschisis. No covering membrane, but there could be fibrous matter is there. Okay, this is about the gastroschisis. Gastroschisis is a congenital abnormality characterized by defect in the anterior abdominal wall through which the abdominal content freely protruded. That is called as gastroschisis. Here there will not be any overlying sac and the size of the defect is less than 4 centimeters. I said no, gastroschisis, the size of the defect, the hole, that size is less than 4 centimeters in the gastroschisis. But there is no covering sac is there over that protruded organs. There is no covering overlying sac is there. But the abdominal wall defect is located at the junction of the umbilicus, the normal skin, and is almost always to the right of the umbilicus. Mostly if child is having right side of the umbilicus, the protrusion, that is herniation of the internal organ is the abdominal organ is there. That time you should easily recognize that baby is, if it is the size is less than 4 centimeters, that time you should recognize that baby is suffering with the congenital abnormality of the intestines, that is gastroschisis. Okay, this is about the gastroschisis. And coming to the omphalocele. What is omphalocele? It is another congenital anomaly that involves the umbilical cord itself and the organ remains enclosed in the visceral, here the visceral peritoneum. Here it is remain enclosed. Here the one covering layer is there. Okay, that is called as visceral peritoneum. Okay, here the organs remain enclosed in the visceral peritoneum. With omphalocele, the defect is usually larger than that the gastrochysis. I said no. What is the how many centimeters the opening is there? Less than 4 centimeters in the gastrochysis, but it is omphalocele. In gastrochysis, there is no covering layer is there. Peritoneum, visceral peritoneum is there in the gastrochysis, but the omphalocele there is a enclosed in the visceral peritoneum, some covering layer is there. Okay, but the size of the herniation is more than the gastrochysis, that is more than the 4 centimeters is there in the omphalocele. That is the difference. Look at this image. In this, the baby's umbilical cord is remains in the normal, but it is covered with that visceral peritoneum. One sac is covering in this, in the omphalocele, but gastrochysis there is no sac is covering. Okay, and coming to the risk factors. What are the risk factors? Younger mother less than 20 years of age group, because their reproductive system is not well developed. So babies, mother is delivered some congenital malformation newborns, and because of the folic acid deficiency, hypoxia, salicylated and acetaminophen, aminophene and ibuprofen consumption during the pregnancy. Some drugs they are using during the pregnancy, that is salicylate and acetaminophen and ibuprofen. Because of that, baby is delivered with this herniations, and mother is consume the some cocaine and then alcohol consumption during the pregnancy. That time also these type of the babies is delivered. And high risk pregnancies, that is complicated by low birth weight babies. These are the risk factors for the disorders of intestinal system. Okay, risk factors, that is here the omphalocele, the incidence rate is 1 in 5,000 newborn babies is there. In the gastrochysis is 1 in 11,000 babies is there. The malformations are slightly more frequent in the males than the females. The male and female ratio is 5:1. Mostly these are the congenital defects is affected to the male child only. You remember it. Okay, these are the risk factors of incidence of omphalocele and then gastrochysis. And coming to the pathophysiology, look at this image. This is the MRI report. Here the herniation is there because of through and weakened portion of the umbilical valve. The intestinal organs is protruded through and weakened portion. Look at this. Look at this here, because of through an weakened portion of the umbilical abdominal wall, the herniation of the internal organs is there. In the gastrochysis, there is no covering of the intestinal organs is there, but in the omphalocele, one visceral peritoneum layer is covering with that intestinal organs. Okay, this is about the pathophysiology. Look at this image. This is through an opening, it is comes outside. This also. Okay, mostly the small intestines is comes outside. Okay, first we will see the clinical features of omphalocele. Here the diameter of abdominal wall defect is 4 to 12 centimeters is there. I said no, above the 4 centimeters is there in the omphalocele conditions. The opening is the abdominal wall opening, that is 4 to 12 centimeters. It may be centrally located or in the epigastric gastrium or the hypogastrium. Okay, these are the clinical features and the results to injury of the baby's liver. Because of this omphalocele, some liver damage also will be there. Results to injury to the baby's liver. Sac may be ruptured in 10 to 20% of cases. Rupture may be occur in in utero or during the delivery. During the delivery itself, sometimes a rupture also is there. Okay, these are the clinical manifestations of omphalocele. What is the size of the defect? That is 4 to 12 centimeters is there. Mostly it is located at the center of the abdomen, in the epigastrium or hypogastrium regions. Okay, the management of the omphalocele. First, what it should be managed? That is observed for any associated problems such as chromosomal abnormalities, congenital heart diseases, or any other malformations, because this is the congenital malformations. When that baby is suffered with this congenital malformations of the intestine, means mostly they are associated with the another congenital malformations, that is congenital heart diseases, and then some chromosomal abnormalities is there, so that it should be ruled out. And next management is maintain IV fluids, because baby is unable to take any feeding, so you should maintain proper fluid and electrolyte balance through parenteral region. Okay, and then cover the omphalocele with non-adherent dressing. So you should be covered because of exposure of the internal organ is there, no? So you should cover that omphalocele with an non-adherent dressing to prevent body heat and then moist, because thermoregulation is not maintained, no? So you should maintain proper warmth. And prophylactic antibiotics may be given preoperatively, because this omphalocele is needed for the surgical intervention, so before the surgery should be given prophylactic antibiotics. And closure of the small or medium size of omphalocele is accomplished without difficulty. Okay, if it is a very small or medium size of omphalocele, so you should do the surgeries without difficulty. A baby with ruptured omphalocele should treated as a child with the gastrochisis. Here the if any any omphalocele is ruptured, that time you should you do the 2 surgeries. Okay, this is about the management of omphalocele. Okay, coming to the surgical repair, how they are doing the surgical repair. Here the omphalocele may be treated by mobilizing skin flap to cover the sac. Okay, so you should cover that sac, and a circumferential incision is made along the skin omphalocele junction, keeping the membrane intact. Okay, here the circumferential incision, here they are doing some incisional around that seal and made along the skin omphalocele junction, keeping the membrane intact. And Teflon sheet are sutured along the edge and approximate cover over the omphalocele sac. Here they are using for surgical repair, that is Teflon sheets are sutured along the edge and then approximate over the omphalocele sac. Okay, look at this images. This is the omphalocele. Omphalocele means here it is an with the covering of the layer, that is viscera. Okay, peritoneal viscera is covering in the omphalocele condition, but during the delivery this also is ruptured. Okay, this is the surgical intervention. They are using the Teflon sheet to cover that circumscribe the omphalocele around that, and then they should keep that whatever the protruded abdominal organ, that is intestines, they covered with that in this Teflon sheet, and then make the suture line, keep everything in that, and then they are making the suture line like this. This is about the surgical management of the omphalocele. Are you understood? And okay, that is about omphalocele. And coming to the gastrochisis, I said about what is the gastrochisis and then definition. Okay, coming to the clinical features of the gastrochisis, the abdominal wall defect is fairly uniform in the size, less than 5 centimeters, means below the 4 centimeters it is there, and is located to the right of the umbilical cord Edema, inflammation and turgor of intestine depends on the size of the abdominal cavity and opening of the abdominal wall. If it is opening is more than 4 centimeters or below the 5 centimeters is there, what happen, abdominal wall is having edematous, and then that protruded organs also is exposed to the external environment, so it is having some edematous and inflammation and turgor of the intestines depending upon the size of the umbilical cavity, because there is no covering layer over that exposed part of the intestine. Okay, so here the inflammation and then turgor of intestines depending upon the size of the abdominal cavity and opening of the abdominal wall. Did you get my point? Okay, these are the clinical features. And next one is medical management of the gastroschisis. Here two conditions are needed for the surgical interventions itself, and before surgery some medications is needed for this gastroschisis. That is, the gastroschisis should be carefully wrapped in the saline so that intestine does not dry it out, because it is exposed, there is no covering viscera is there in the gastroschisis, so you should cover that part with wrapped with the saline so that intestine does not dry out. So next one is NG tube is put to remove the air from the intestine. Here the intestines is have some air, no, so you should put the nasogastric tube and then remove the whatever the air is obstructed. Okay, and next one is respiratory distress in neonates with gastroschisis may be respond to the gastric decompression, although intubation may still be needed. If any respiratory distress is there, you should go for the intubation for that baby and administer the IV fluid bolus, that is 20 ml per kg. You should go for the ringer lactate or normal saline followed by 10% dextrose and normal saline 2 to 3 times. The babies maintain the fluid replacement, because NP nothing by mouth is there, no, so you should give the replace the fluid and electrolyte balance and monitor the urinary output. Do rectal examination to dilate the anal opening. Broad spectrum antibiotics to prevent the contamination of the peritoneal cavity, because it is exposed of the organ, intestines is exposed through the external environment, so it may be dry, so you should prevent the some infection, inflammatory process. You should give the broad spectrum antibiotics to prevent the contamination of the peritoneal cavity. Okay, that is medical management. And next one is surgical management. What is the sheet they are using means silastic sheet. Here they are using silastic sheet for the closure of the gastroschisis. Teflon sheet is used for the closure of omphalocele. Remember it. Here this is the viva questions for which sheets they are using for surgical repair of omphalocele or gastroschisis. They are asking questions. Here the silastic sheet are sutured to fill thickness of the extended abdominal wall defect and closed over the intestines. Here they are used in the silastic sheet are sutured to fill the thickness of the extended abdominal wall. Here the abdominal wall is having opening. How much it is, the opening is there? Less than 5 centimeters or less than 4 centimeters is there. The defect and then closed, cover the intestines. It should be covered. Next time it won't come through out, because so they are using silastic sheets. Okay, here this should be helpful in stretching the abdominal musculature, emptying the stomach and then bladder, and manually evacuate the colon. Before doing the surgery, you should empty the bladder and colon manually you should do. And with new advancement like silo help in replacing the intestines into the abdominal cavity. Here the silo means here the hollow means it is an hole. Okay, deep hole. Okay, ఇన్ తెలుగు గొయ్యి లాంటిది ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, విత్ న్యూ అడ్వాన్స్మెంట్ లైక్ సైలో హెల్ప్ ఇన్ రీప్లేసింగ్ ద ఇంటెస్టైన్స్ ఇన్ టు ద అబ్డామినల్ క్యావిటీ. సో హియర్ ద silastic sheets they are using for closure of this gastroschisis conditions. This new procedure allows the bowel to return to its intended shape and location without further traumatizing viscera. Here there is no trauma should be there by using of new procedures. Okay, this is about surgical management. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. Here, this is elastic sheets they are using for closure of this gastroschisis. Here, this is elastic sheet to keep everything, whatever the internal organ is protruded through an weekend opening of the abdominal wall. Okay, so they are keeping in this elastic sheet and then they are closed like this. Okay, they're closing and then everything is closed inside, goes inside, and they will get that area. Okay, that is about the surgical intervention of gastroschisis and nursing management of this two conditions, that is gastroschisis and then omphalocele. Okay, what is the surgical management is there needed for these two conditions, that is pre-operative care and then post-operative care. What should be give for the pre-operative care means before that you should cover that exposed part with the sterile dressing, and then before surgical intervention you should maintain the fluid and electrolyte balance and maintain IV infusion, protect the baby with the maintenance of warmth and breastfeeding, oxygen therapy and mechanical ventilation if needed. You should be there, you should give that mechanical ventilation and basic pre-operative and then post-operative care to be provided with the babies. What is the post-operative care? Post-operative care, before that you should administer some antibiotic, broad spectrum antibiotics. And during the post-operative care, what you should be given means if you should identify any complications is there or with rupturing of the sac, or if any bowel is looped outside, everything should be observed and post-operatively, and then observe for the infection or sepsis, or a child is having any hypothermia or hypovolemia, everything you should be observe. Okay, that is about the post-operative nursing management. And coming to the nursing diagnosis, what are the nursing diagnosis is needed? Okay, pre-operatively and post-operatively you should write the nursing diagnosis. The mostly nursing diagnosis is risk for injury related to the exposed area, or that is in pre-operatively, and post-operatively means risk for injury related to the complex of the surgeries. Okay, and next one is altered nutrition less than body requirement related to inadequate intake of oral fluids. Okay, during pre and then post-operative you should write both. And next one is risk for altered parenting related to the prolonged illness because child is needed for the surgical intervention. So risk for altered parenting, okay, that also. And lack of knowledge or knowledge deficit related to the child conditions, and risk for infections related to the surgical interventions, or in pre-operatively risk for infection related to the exposed part of the intestine, and everything you should write. And then ineffective airway clearance, that is needed for the omphalocele conditions because they are needed for the intubation during the surgical intervention. So you should write according to baby's conditions, nursing diagnosis. Okay, this is about the nursing management of pre and then post-operative care of the babies with the omphalocele and then gastroschisis condition. And next one is prognosis. Here the current advances in surgical techniques and intensive care management of neonates have increased the survival rate to 90% because our NICU setup is very good setup. So it may preventing the some morbidities and then mortalities of these babies. Okay, after surgery or before surgery itself, the survival rate is increased. How much it means? 90% because of effective neonatal intensive care unit. And then prenatal diagnosis either through ultrasonography or any other method available are helpful. So everybody should prenatal period go for the ultrasonography to evaluate the baby's condition. And then morbidity is closely related to the presence of the other malformations and complications of the wound or intestine. Okay, because single intestinal problems disorders, it may be healed very fast. So if that child is suffering with another congenital malformations like cardiovascular disorders, that time the complications may be increased. Okay, and complications of wound or intestines, it also maybe is related their prognosis. This is about the prognosis of hernia or disorders of intestines. Okay, I hope everybody is understand today's topic. Nothing is there in this. What is gastroschisis means? This gastroschisis, it won't having any closed viscera, that is gastroschisis. Herniation is there in both conditions, omphalocele and then gastroschisis. But here gastroschisis means protrusion of internal organ through an weakened portion of the abdomen, but it won't, it less than the 4 centimeters, but it won't cover the any viscera of the peritoneum. But in the omphalocele, the size is more than the 4 to 5 centimeters, but it is covered with, it is big, it is covered with the viscera of the peritoneum. Okay, same both conditions is needed for the surgical interventions. In the omphalocele, they are using Teflon sheet. For surgical management gastroschisis, they are using salicylic sheets. Okay, this is about the management. I hope everybody is understands today's class. Thank you.